Well, now that you're here, let's talk about one of our favorite skincare ingredients, tea!
Meanwhile, she's drinking coffee.
You might have noticed within the bottles of your favorite skincare products, there's one ingredient that reveals itself, tea, otherwise known as Camellia sinensis. Green tea and black tea extracts seem to be having their moment in skincare, making way for trendier terms including kombucha and matcha as powerhouse, skin-supporting and anti-inflammatory ingredients. So what's the story? Well, green tea contains a unique antioxidant, EGCG. It's been studied to have many topical benefits, including the ability to protect our skin from UV radiation, fight against harmful free radicals in the air that leads to premature aging, and goes even deeper into our skin, inhibiting tyrosinase from forming, meaning it can help block the first signs of dark spots and hyperpigmentation from even forming in the first place. Some brands have tea leaf water, while other brands have put the tea through the process of fermentation, and this creates additional molecules to form, including peptides, lactic acid, and hyaluronic acid, which increases the potency of the ingredients and translates to amplified anti-aging and hydration benefits. Unlike other more volatile ingredients, all skin types benefit from tea extracts, including even the most sensitive, like those who face rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, and of course, acne. But long before this ingredient landed into our bathrooms and into our skincare routines, tea was and continues to play a significant role in tradition, culture, and history in the East. Origins of tea trace back to China as early as the 1st and 2nd century, where it was consumed throughout the country as a medicinal brew. It was also found among scholars and nobility as a mark of status. Later, tea was enjoyed in social occasions and ceremonies as an important offering to ancestors and elders. Then eventually, tea spread across the globe through trade to places including Japan, Korea, India, Russia, and of course England, who have all adapted the taste and rituals of tea drinking to suit their lifestyle. While we might think there are dozens, if not hundreds of different types, each one of these varieties originate back to the same Camellia sinensis plant. What creates all these seemingly different teas is how they're grown, plucked, steamed, dried, or fermented. And depending on which of these processes the leaf has gone through, it'll present a completely different taste, color, caffeine level, and antioxidant quality. And this also applies in our skincare products. So now that you know a little bit more about the history of tea, where it came from, we want to introduce Lisa. Hi. Lisa from the Chi.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Lee and I'm the founder of The Chi. The Chi is a healing brand where we specialize in single origin whole flowers where you can drink them like a tea or a mocktail and so many other things. And this is Pina, my dog. He is a Morkie, which is a half Yorkie and half Maltese. Say hi, Pina. Hi.
We launched a new product. We won't get to it yet, but this is why we're here.
Before we jump in, we want to mention, stay to the very end because we are doing a very special giveaway where you're gonna win some treats. Not just the tea, but a whole ritual for yourself and a lucky friend to enjoy. So more on that later.
So as you can tell, green tea is a fan favorite here at Beauty Within in our skincare. So we thought for our first collab, it made sense for us to create not only a green tea
Beverage,
but for it to also bloom and for there to be a peony inside and an amaranth inside.
much to dissect here,
Yes.
guys. Like, first of all, where did this collaboration come from? It was more than a year in the making. We talked to Lisa when? Like last year?
Last year,
sometime.
yeah, late last year.
At a really interesting time when all three of us were feeling a little burnt out.
So burned out.
Live.
Yeah, with life, and we were just sharing our experiences. Lisa, you were telling us a little bit more about like tea culture, and we're like, wait, this fits in so harmoniously with skincare. I think a lot of you think that we would do skincare, but actually it's more about the lifestyle, the mental, mind, body, and outer skin.
I've known of you for a long time.
Yeah, I reached out.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Yes.
like, I love your content. I mean, even the name Beauty Within is so aligned with what we do too. Beauty Within, like, starts from within. Maybe I took it too literally.
No, but it's
Literally,
true.
like from your stomach, gut health, and
Yeah.
everything. But that's how I think of it, you know, like your skin or our beauty on the outside is much of a reflection of how we feel and what is going on the inside. So this just made so much sense, and we're so excited to be launching something that is quite different than what we currently offering, which is a whole different level and world that we are blossoming into together. In general, I would say there are two huge categories. One category would be true teas. So technically, this is a category of anything caffeinated from the plant of Camellia sinensis. It's this one particular plant. You see the tea leaf. These are your true teas. Everything else actually falls under a category of herbal. And in this huge other category is roots like ginger or turmeric. And then from there, you have flowers as its own thing. And these are super healing flowers, whether they are chamomile and lavender, which I think are more popular here in the West, comparing to chrysanthemum or lotus, which have a really, really long history in the East. So it's this maybe less tapped in category of super healing flowers that are really precious, beautiful herbs that are wonderful for you. This is so exciting on so many different levels because for a long time, since we started over 4 years ago, we have only done flowers. This has more than flowers. It's actually the green tea leaf that you see wrapping around the flowers. And green tea has amazing, incredible benefits like antioxidants. And peony is special because that's your flower for your brand. So this literally is the two brand coming together and us coming together to combine these different ingredients. In general, flowers as a super herb is really known for beautifying and nourishing. Peony in particular also has been around for a really, really long time. Some of the benefits known are really high in antioxidants. It's also wonderful for immunity boosting that doesn't have caffeine. So it's just wonderful for relaxation, for beautifying. And peony is such a special flower for so many reasons as well. So it's known as abundance, expansion. So it's known as
soft.
yes.
It's fluttery.
Yes.
It's very feminine.
Ultimate divine energy, if you want to call it that. And I think green tea has its own energetics as well. And obviously green tea has caffeine. So between the caffeine in the green tea and the antioxidants in the peony too, again, you just have the perfect two worlds coming together.
The essence of it is really traditional. Like, we want to bring this moment to you guys wherever you're from. So let's take a look at what you'll actually get.
Yes.
So within the box, this is how teas are traditionally like sold, and you can buy it like this, right?
Yeah, I think traditionally a lot of times they can wrap it in foil like this, and we're like, oh, this is like little trouble. How
Is it
special.
chocolate or is it tea?
You will never know. I'm just kidding. You'll find out. And your team, I thought it was so special. You made these little messages that you can see on the inside. So every time when you pull one out, there is a special message for you.
It's a little reminder of the things that we want to remind ourselves of, which is presence, there's empathy, there's compassion, like all these things that we wish we could have said to ourselves or wherever you are in life, all in the name of blooming. And then once you unwrap it,
It's a bud, and then it becomes this beautiful, beautiful thing.
It really is like this. Like you get a bud on the outside, it's the green tea, and when you soak it in hot water, it starts blooming, and then you'll first see the bloom of the peony, And then the bloom of the amaranth.
So here are the very simple 3 steps on how to brew a blooming tea. Number 1, water temperature. Ideally, you have something that's around 180 degrees and you pour it over the blooming tea bulb in a mug or a glass pot. Let it steep for about 3 to 5 minutes and being fully present as it slowly blossoms and opens up. Once it's fully open, you can sip and enjoy. For most floral teas, your water temperature will dictate on how fast your blooming tea opens up or how much extraction of the nutrients and flavonoids it will come out of your blooming tea. For higher quality loose leaf teas and whole flowers, you can actually have additional steepings. So for our blooming tea, as you drink down your first steeping, you can add more hot water and have your second steeping, so it creates another pot. Versus tea bags, generally speaking, it's really hard to get a second steeping or second cup out of it because they have lower quality ingredients. And just to add, you cannot mess it up. If your water is a little bit more than 180 or a little less than 180, it's totally okay. And you can just leave it in your mug as you sip it down, and you don't have to worry too much about being extremely precise how long you steep it for.
So cheers to that. I mean, cheers. I will mentally cheer. I just like,
Oh, so sweet. No, it's fragrant. It actually is sweet.
when you open it, oh my gosh, this smell,
Divine.
divine.
Wait, Lisa, can you tell us more about how this little truffle is made?
Yes. So this is literally an Asian lady sitting there who is an artisan who's been making these for a long time, sewing the green tea leaves and the flowers one by one together and mold it into this shape. So what they do is after they sew it, and they will put it in a little moldy thing and they'll twist it and it will dry this way. So it stays in this shape. And once it's fully dried, it becomes this shape.
If you want the most benefits of all the antioxidants and the tannins and all of that, these full leaf teas will give you the biggest benefit. In tea bags, they just chop leftover leaves up, essentially, which still has benefits, but when you have the whole leaf like this, you're getting everything.
Yeah. What I think what you're referring to is tea dust, which you find frequently in tea bags, is generally speaking the lowest quality of tea. It's actually the leftover of these. Like imagine you're picking up leaves of tea and you're drying. What's left over is like the teeny bits and pieces, and that's generally what they put in tea bags. A lot of tea bags are made of the lowest quality, what is called tea dust. It's basically all the stuff that machine picks up along the way. That's not only the tea leaves itself, but branches and little buggies and you name it. So higher quality loose leaf teas or flowers, you can do multiple steepings versus a tea bag, you can do 1, maybe 2, and it will be it. For example, like a high quality green tea, you can steep it for 3, 4, 5 times even.
For this pot exactly, because it's the whole leaf, you can do 1 pour, 2 pours, like pots, and just keep enjoying it.
Yeah, by having a combination of flowers and green tea, the flowers actually rounds out some of the bitter notes or grassy notes you might traditionally find in green tea by itself. Along with that, a lot of times teas are being consumed with milk or sugar or iced tea, right? I think when I was growing up, there wasn't such thing as iced tea. It's just hot and you have it what it's called gong fu style, which just means like it's not about I need to have this thing in 5 minutes on my way to do something else, but you carve out an hour or 2, you just hang out and you enjoy it. Almost like wine in Europe, I feel like.
When I first heard of your brand, the reason why I personally gravitated so much to it was because I remember reading about your story growing up with your grandma. It would be like a community, slowing down, presence, and like a whole ritual and a ceremony.
Absolutely.
And then the flowers would be like whole flowers, the leaves would be whole leaf teas. And when you came to the West, you're like, oh, interesting. The way people are consuming tea here is very different.
For a long time, when tea was originated in China thousands of years ago, it was very much intended, in a way, a ritual, if you will, to have a moment for yourself, to feel this relaxation, to feel this mental state where you're very calm. And when I moved to the US, It was actually the first time I've ever seen tea bags. And I feel like in the US, it's an alternative to coffee, but it doesn't really have its own thing. But I feel like it's changing now. You know, people are realizing or starting to appreciate tea for what it is, wanting to have that moment for themselves and for other people they want to connect with.
I remember one time, I went to China with my dad. You know, he was sitting down in front of like 10 different like little pots and little cups and stuff, and he is spending like an hour like warming up the teacup and then pouring water and then pouring it out. The first pour, the second pour, the third. I'm like, Dad, just drink it. We have places to be. And this is when I was like in my late teens. I'm just like, hurry. But then now I look back at my younger self, I'm like, oh wow, that's like a
Tradition.
it's like the Western thinking of, come on, like we have places to be. Let's just drink tea to get the caffeine and then like we can go places.
So you were talking about the ritual of it, right? It's also celebratory. It's not something that's just on the go. So when I had tea, it was in my tea ceremony when I got married at home. And you know when you serve tea to your parents as a symbol of like appreciation for them, to your elders, and then they give it back to you and they actually tell you like, oh, it's really sweet. It's like, oh, 很甜. And then when they say it's like the sweeter it is, the more like happy your marriage will be. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like this whole ritual has been like part of the history and the culture of like Asian culture for hundreds of years. Which I didn't realize. Once again, I think it's like this moment of like just respect for heritage, for where we came from where like our roots were, that really got lost as we were growing up in
The West.
In the West, Thank you. In Hong Kong, this is what you do at dim sum. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yes,
Just a labor of love and a labor of intention to create this, for us to come together and to.
we hope you. That's what. Yes, this is first for all of us in many different ways.
In so many different ways.
And it's the first event we did in a really long time.
Guys,
Roll some B-roll.
To wrap everything beautifully, we want to give 2 of our audience, lucky winners, a chance to experience the blooming tea as well as the blooming teapot, which is Lisa's beautiful pot.
It's so cute.
Oh my god, it's got little legs.
handle of it all.
And this is the package that we gave some of our nearest and dearest friends as well, and you'll get to experience that too. It's also got some bamboo tongs for you to just like steep the tea in, and it's lovely. So what you want to do is make sure you're following the Cheese IG as well as Beauty Within. Tag your friend, your BFF, who you want to share this special moment with, and just let us know
Your favorite thing about your friend, and you and your friend will both win a box.
Yeah,
A box of goodies.
Each.
you'll want this, guys.
So we'll link the exact reel we're talking about in the description so you know exactly where to go. Before we say our goodbyes, Lisa, we have a last question for you.
Yes.
What does Beauty Within mean to you?
What a good question. To me, beauty within means how are we taking care of ourselves on the inside? And that could mean a lot of different things, whether that's from an emotional level or spiritual level or physically. So beauty within, it's like, are you digesting, like how's your gut health? But not only from like digesting food, which I think a lot of times like that's what we think about, but our digestive system also digests all of our emotions. So if you think when you're stressed, what do we want to do? Like eat or drink? Yes, so that digestive system digests so much more than just actual food. It's digesting all of our emotions, like stress or anger or sadness or whatever it is. So beauty within to me is like, what does that all mean from an inside out perspective? And how do we take care of ourselves? I think wellness is beauty. Like I think of the same thing. So if we can like be really beautiful in a way that's like nourishment and healing and just feeding ourselves really, really wonderful things that you feel really good about, that is beauty within to me. And hopefully what looks on the outside is merely a reflection of what's on the inside. The little things in life.
And with that, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you very soon.
Do you want to make your funny faces now?
Okay. I don't know. Now